7 years old, I remember watching a talk show with my grandmother and seeing this man with big muscles, who in my eyes looked like a superhero. I recall being engrossed in every word that came out of his mouth and listening to how he used to do hundreds of push-ups in his small bedroom in Austria when he was 9 or 10. I remember running to my room to do as many push-ups as I could, which turned out to be, maybe 1, possibly 2. But I went to bed that night dreaming that someday, I would be big, strong, and muscular like the man on TV. That man went on to become one of the top-grossing movie stars of all time and the governor of California. His name, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That night, the seed of my love for fitness was sown. I was born into a massive sporting family and grew up on a small farm in Connemara in the west of Ireland. I wasn't very scholarly at school. From the age of 6 to 17 or 18, my entire life circulated around playing sports, especially Gaelic football, Ireland's national sport, which was my personal favorite. My closest friends like to joke with me that I'm the living embodiment of, if it isn't a priority, it doesn't get done, and there's a lot of truth to this. From an academic standpoint, I just about got through school, but from a sports standpoint, I made it into every team I tried out for. Spending hours every evening practicing skills and drills to improve my performance. To master my football techniques, would learn to kick equally well with both feet, would hang car tires in front of my homemade goals and try to kick the ball through them. I wouldn't enter the house until I passed the ball through the tire 10 times in a row. I did everything to improve my game. My school bag was a glorified doorstopper for most of my teens. I remember one time when I was picked up by the ear and kicked out of the class for mapping out my workout routine during the time allotted to some other task. I recall walking down the long narrow corridor to the principal's office with my heart in my mouth. It was the 3rd or 4th time I had been sent that week. I'll never forget the conversation we had that day. My principal, also named Brian, sat me down and told me that although I obviously should be doing the allocated tasks and not calculating my 10 rep max during class, I was going to be fine in life. He had seen my work ethic and dedication to football and talked about my ability to lead others on the pitch. He said that I had the personality to do big things with my life and never to let other teachers' opinions of me change who I am at the core. I don't remember much of the conversation, but I can never forget the feeling I had when I left that office. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. And I think even at a subconscious level, that's where my "just do you" life philosophy comes from. That was the first time I had an authority figure, besides my mom, tell me that I was going to do something with my life, and I'll be forever grateful for the belief that conversation instilled in me. It is rightly said that great teachers can inspire you to do great things. I've since gone to university, received an honors degree in business, completed post-graduation in teaching, won an All-Ireland medal with my club, traveled the world as a professional fitness model and run my own business that works with and serves thousands of people every year. This book is a culmination of everything I have learned over the last 17 years of training and nearly 30 years of life. The book is split into 2 sections. The first half contains everything about fitness and health, nutrition, training, supplements, sleep, alcohol, and hydration. These are the essentials you need to get into incredible shape, increase your energy, and reap the results of understanding how your body works. I nearly quit fitness several times during my early 20s from sheer information overload. There was so much conflicting material out there that I didn't know what to believe, what to try, or what worked. I've used my personal 17 years of training and nutrition knowledge to try and find a shortcut for your journey. I effectively wrote all this for the 22-year-old me who nearly quit 100 times. The second half is focused on cultivating the mindset to get great results, using step-by-step strategies to help you implement them. It discusses everything from creating habits, setting goals, and reducing stress to maximize your energy levels, to my own personal stories of dealing with stress, anxiety, and worry in my own life. The last section is entitled Practical Life Tips and is written for my daughter. None of us truly knows how much time we have on this planet, and the life tips are a culmination of personal philosophies that I want to pass on to my daughter in case anything ever happens to me. Section 1 is fitness, and its chapter 1 is nutrition. This chapter is designed to give you an improved understanding of how nutrition plays a vital role in giving your body energy, helping it use fat as a fuel source and aiding in building lean muscle. This section discusses everything from calories and macronutrients to the specific role of each in changing your body composition and improving energy levels. We will start with the foundation principles such as what is a calorie, and what are macronutrients, and other ideas that are imperative to understand in order to change your body composition and improve your energy levels. We will explore the detailed ways in which certain foods affect the body in a positive and negative way, in the context of body composition, fat loss, and energy levels, and also investigate the roles of 3 macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fat in more detail. Never build your house on sand. Personally, I'm not very religious, but I do love the messages from some of the great books of times past, the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, to name a few. One of my favorite passages in the Bible is from the parable of the wise and the foolish builders in Matthew 7 verse 26, which I paraphrase. It's a foolish man who builds his house on sand. Nutrition is exactly the same. Once you have the fundamentals and a solid foundation for nutrition, it's easy to build on top of that. There are so many different nutritional strategies you can follow: clean eating, keto, IFYM, paleo, 80:20, to name just a few, but the key is to get the foundations in place first. I will not offer an opinion regarding which strategy is the best. They all work in their own way, and learning which system fits into your lifestyle is always going to be the key. I will, though, recommend the foundation principles that I think every nutritional strategy should have, and then you can adopt different systems based on these principles. Before we dig deeper, it's important that you understand the fundamentals. All great ideas are built on solid foundations, and calories and macronutrients are the foundations of every good nutritional strategy. What is a calorie? A calorie, or a kilocalorie, is a unit of energy. Human beings require energy to survive, to breathe, move, pump blood, etc., and we acquire this energy from food. The number of calories in a food item is a measure of how much potential energy that food possesses. For example, 1 gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. Various foods are a compilation of these 3 building blocks. Therefore, if you know how many carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are present in any given food item, you can calculate how many calories or how much energy that food contains. Below is an example of the formula for calculating the number of calories in a food. For example, 100 grams of oats, generic brand. This is a low-fat, high-carb, low to moderate protein food. Protein, 16.5 gram. 16.5 gram times 4 kcals. Carbohydrates, 66 gram. 66 gram times 4 calories, comma, fat, 7 gram. 7 gram times 9 calories, comma, total calories, 393 calories. Note, the same formula can be applied to any food item to calculate the number of calories. How many calories do you need? This number can vary greatly from person to person. From the nutritional labels of the foods you buy, you may notice that the percent daily values are based on a 2,000 or 2,500 calorie diet. According to the National Health Service, NHS, 2,500 for males, or 2,000 for females, calories is a rough average of how much a semi-active adult needs to eat in a day. However, your body might need more or less than the recommended number of calories in order to achieve the physique you're striving for. Height, weight, gender, age, and activity level all affect your caloric needs. In addition, at the most basic level, if you eat more calories than you burn, you will add weight. On the flip side, if you eat fewer calories than you burn, you will lose weight. This is true at the most basic level, but there are a number of other factors that come into play. 1. The digestion of each food. One of my mentors would always say to me, "It's not about what you eat, it's about what you absorb." The truth is, it's a combination of both. Your food choices are important, but you also need to consider how much of that food you are absorbing. Will 100 grams of rice from a microwave packet filled with preservatives be absorbed the same way as 100 grams of pure rice that needs to be boiled and drained? The answer is no. The removal of some fiber and the addition of preservatives means that microwavable ready-made foods will have a significantly lower absorption rate than their non-processed alternatives, thus leaving you with less energy for the same number of calories. Further in this chapter, I will discuss how making one simple change, eliminating or greatly reducing processed foods, can have an incredibly beneficial impact on your body's ability to burn body fat or build lean muscle. With this change, you will also experience an extremely noticeable effect in your energy, even after merely a few days. 2. Keeping the blood sugar levels stable. As mentioned above, once you hit your daily calorie or macronutrient, macro, targets, in theory, you will lose or gain weight. However, as much as I wish it were as simple as that, your body doesn't work as 1 + 1 = 2. In my experience, keeping your blood sugars levels stable is one of the most important factors in any nutritional plan. If your blood sugar levels are not balanced, you are going to suffer from low energy levels, mood swings, and a general high/low that comes with sugar spikes and crashes. Later in the chapter, I will discuss how balancing blood sugar levels can completely eliminate cravings, improve energy levels, and increase your body's ability to burn fat or build lean muscle. In terms of just losing weight, it can be as simple as eating fewer calories than you burn. If you want to lose weight quickly and you don't care about body composition, muscle tone, energy levels, or keeping the weight off over the long term, then by all means you can stop reading right away. However, if you want to know how to eat more real food, increase your energy levels, have a leaner, more toned or muscular physique, and keep it for the long term, then keep reading. There's one more fundamental that needs to be understood before we continue: macronutrients. What are macronutrients? Definition: a type of food, e.g. fat, protein, carbohydrate, required in large amounts in the diet. Macronutrients are nutrients that provide calories or energy. Nutrients are the substances required for growth, metabolism, and for other body functions. Since macro means large, macronutrients are the nutrients required in large amounts. There are 3 primary macronutrients: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Proteins. Proteins are made of varying combinations of amino acids, 20 in all. Amino acids make up every tissue and substance in our bodies, from hair and heart to hormones. Depending on your goals, in order to build a leaner or more muscular body, we need the right combination of amino acids interacting with fundamentally healthy cells in order to repair and build tissues for lean muscle. Carbohydrates and fats are important, but nothing compares to the ability of amino acids to grow, repair, and maintain a healthy tissue. There are 8 essential amino acids for adults: valine, isoleucine, leucine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, methionine, and lysine, and 9 for children. Add histidine to the list. The body can make all the other amino acids from the essential ones, but we must get the essential ones from the foods or supplements we consume. This is why it's so important to supplement with leucine, isoleucine, and valine, branched-chain amino acids, when trying to build lean muscle, as your body can't produce them by itself. Animal and fish protein contains all the essential amino acids in proper proportions to one another, a characteristic of all flesh foods, and thus is known as complete protein. You can also get essential amino acids in the plant kingdom. They are just not in their complete protein proportions, and therefore, you have to mix and match them to make them complete proteins. Because most plants provide inadequate amounts of certain amino acids in relation to others, plant protein is normally referred to as incomplete protein. Why do we need protein? 1. Growth. especially when looking to build lean muscle tissue. 2. Tissue repair. To repair muscle tissue after intensive workouts. 3. Immune function. To avoid getting sick. 4. To get energy when carbohydrate is not available. This is by gluconeogenesis, whereby your body converts protein to glucose for energy. 5. To preserve lean muscle mass, to retain the muscle you already have. How do I get my protein if I don't eat meat? It's true that meat and eggs are complete proteins, in contrast to beans and nuts. However, we don't need every essential amino acid from every meal we eat. We only need a sufficient amount of each amino acid each day. During the digestive process, our bodies free the amino acids present in our food and create other substances from them. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, if something we eat doesn't contain all the essential amino acids required by the body, we have a small window, about a day, to ingest the complementary ones to complete the amino acid equation. The body doesn't house or store amino acids, i.e., you need to eat them every day, but as long as you eat the correct food combinations during the day, you will be fine. As mentioned above, you don't necessarily have to combine them in one meal. You just need to make sure that you combine the right foods to get all the essential amino acids in the right amounts by the end of the day. There are numerous ways to use food combinations to get all your essential amino acids. I'll list a few examples below. 1. Combining nuts and seeds with legumes or grains. Combining legumes with sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, or nuts such as walnuts, almonds, or cashew provides complete proteins. One of my personal favorites is a trail mix of nuts, cashews, sunflower seeds with hummus or guacamole dip, and raw vegetables. To cement the idea that you do not need to consume protein-rich food together in a single meal to reap the benefits of combining proteins, the University of Michigan's reports show that eating a variety of foods with incomplete proteins throughout the day allows your body to get the amino acids you need from diet. The one thing to remember is that your body doesn't store complete proteins for a rainy day. According to the Standing Committee on the Scientific Evaluation for Dietary Reference Intakes, there is no evidence for a protein reserve that serves only as a store to meet future needs, which means you need to stay on top of your nutrition and combine your foods every single day to reap all the benefit of essential amino acids. However, once you use the correct nutritional strategy that includes all the essential amino acids, you can get all the benefits of a complete protein eater, so long as you are resourceful with your combinations. 2. The benefits of animal products. The truth is, it's significantly easier to get all your essential amino acids from meat, fish, and eggs, which are already loaded with them all. While steak contains protein, it also contains fat, vitamins A, B, iron, and zinc. However, not all meat and fish are created equally. Different animal proteins have different nutritional densities. The differences between a grass-fed cow or a free-range chicken and an antibiotic-pumped cow and factory chicken are tremendous. 3. Avoid factory-farmed meat and fish. The most nutrient-rich proteins are from properly raised meat. Personally, I'm a massive fan of poultry, but the hormone-loaded chickens that are found in some commercial supermarkets are best avoided. If you can get your hands on organic and/or free-range chicken, just ask your local butcher. You are going to get a much higher nutritional return. In case of fish, try to avoid farmed fish that has been pumped full of colorings, and opt for wild fish whenever possible. Again, your supermarket or local fishmonger should be able to tell you which fish is wild and which has been farmed. There's a frustrating paradox for those who eat farmed fish for their health. As the nutritional benefits of farmed fish are greatly decreased, take omega-3 fatty acids. Wild fish get their omega-3 from aquatic plants. Farmed fish, however, are often fed corn, soy, or other feedstuff that have little or no omega-3s. The unnatural, high-corn diet also means that some farmed fish accumulate unhealthy levels of the wrong fatty acids. The most concerning issue is that farmed fish are routinely dosed with antibiotics, which can then enter your body and cause all kinds of harm, not to mention slowing down any physical progress, such as losing fat, building muscle, etc. Remember the famous quote, "You are what you eat"? You can probably extend this to, "You are also what your food eats." 4. Eat the right meat and get more vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin that keeps your nerves and blood cells healthy. It is responsible for the smooth functioning of several critical body processes. It is pretty easy to develop a vitamin B12 deficiency, the first symptom normally being chronic fatigue. Strict vegetarians or vegans, heavy drinkers, and smokers are usually most susceptible to vitamin B12 deficiency. B12 is found only in animal products, yet even lactovo-vegetarians, those who drink milk and eat eggs, may miss out on it. Sometimes what matters the most isn't whether a nutrient is found within a food, but whether the body can actually absorb it and use it properly. According to the report in the Journal of Experimental Biology in Medicine, the bioavailability, how much you absorb, of vitamin B12 from eggs is less than 9%, which means that from all the B12 found in eggs, the body absorbs only 9%. Compare this to red meat, for example, which has a bioavailability as high as 77%. That's not to say that eggs are not incredibly nutritious, because they are, the yolks in particular, but B12 isn't their strong suit. If you are a vegetarian, vegan, smoker, or drinker, you should seriously consider adding B12 to your supplement regimen. Personally, I use vitamin B12 spray every single day for the regulation of my nervous system, which can also reduce stress, worry, and anxiety. However, there are numerous other benefits to adding B12 to your supplement regimen if you are not consuming it from food. Point 1. It is required to convert carbohydrates into glucose in the body, thus leading to energy production and a decrease in fatigue and lethargy in the body. Basically, it massively reduces your risk of chronic fatigue. Point 2. It helps maintain a healthy digestive system. Remember, it's more about what you absorb than what you eat. Point 3. It is essential for healthy skin, hair, and nails, and can help in cell reproduction and constant renewal of the skin. Point 4. It has been thought to help prevent breast, colon, lung, and prostate cancer through regulation of the nervous system. Our body can store and recycle B12. An evolutionary adaptation that makes sense, as B12 is so necessary that our bodies have evolved the capacity to store it for survival in times of scarcity. However, there's a downside to being able to store and recycle it. The symptoms of long-term inadequate intake can take years to show themselves. Long-term deficiency puts you at a risk of nerve degeneration, mental disturbance, and depression, amongst a host of other problems. Once these symptoms manifest, it's nearly impossible to fully recover. The take-home message is to make sure that you get enough vitamin B12 from your meat or consider adding it to your supplement regimen. Personally, I only eat red meat once or twice a week. So I hedge my bets and supplement with it. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. By Ben Franklin. 5. How to choose your eggs. The old adage, "You are what you eat," certainly holds true when considering the nutritional value of eggs. For chicken to be classified as free range, it must have been granted access to the outdoors during the raising process. Hens that have access to better pasture have better eggs than birds kept in cages. Free-range hens eat a healthy, natural diet that then manifests into healthier and more nutritious eggs. Alongside having more vitamin A and vitamin E, the main benefit of free-range eggs is their omega-3 fatty acid value. As mentioned in the fats section of the book, omega-3s are an essential fatty acid because the body can't manufacture it on its own, and you must consume it from food. According to Barb Gorski from Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education, free-range hens normally produce 4 times the omega-3s as their caged sisters. The egg yolk, which has most of the nutritional value, is the best indicator of egg quality. A darker yolk, normally dark orange, is an indication of a chicken fed with nutritious and balanced diet rich in omega-3, while a bright yellow yolk is normally the result of caged, poorly fed chickens. Free-range organic chicken farmers must feed their chickens lots of fresh greens including kale, collard, and broccoli to produce the dark orange yolk, which has been proven to not only taste richer but also being richer in nutrients and vitamins. The take-home message is to always buy free-range organic eggs, which are slightly more expensive, but pack a much higher nutritional punch and can actually help you get leaner, faster, due to their higher omega-3 levels. What are the best sources of protein? Personally, I prefer meat and fish sources, as they already have all the essential amino acids that your body requires, but even if you don't eat meat, you can get all your essential amino acids by combining the right foods. It just means you have to get a bit more experimental with your recipes. I'll list my favorites below. Personally, I try and source all my meat and fish from local butchers and fishmongers, as they can tell me if they have used any antibiotics, hormones, or additives. However, most supermarkets also have organic, free-range or grass-fed sections. Again, they may cost a little bit more, but not in all cases. My local butcher is actually cheaper than most supermarkets, so shop around and find what works the best for you. Some foods such as beef and salmon also have a high fat content, but are primarily protein foods, which is why I have included them in this list. Chicken, free range if possible; turkey, free range if possible; free range eggs, beef or lamb, grass fed if possible; rice protein powder, whey protein powder, wild fish, salmon, cod, mackerel, etc. Now, second macronutrient is fat. Thankfully, over the past 2 decades, we have begun to move away from the fat is bad for you or fat will make you fat mindset, which has negatively affected so many people's lives, energy levels, and waistlines. With the massive influx of processed foods and refined cereals over the past decade, unless you are actually going out of your way to consume good healthy fat, you're very likely to be undereating it. Why do we need fat? For brain function, omega-3, for example, plays a critical role in brain function. To burn body fat, certain types of fats such as conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, found in grass-fed cows and pasteurized butter can actually help your body burn fat, for steady energy. Fat is the most concentrated source of energy. It can give you steady energy throughout the day and keep your blood sugar level stable. To absorb certain vitamins, vitamins A, D, E, K and carotenoids are all fat-soluble, i.e. you need to consume them with fat for their absorption, protection. Actual body fat can provide cushioning for the organs. Eating the right kind of fat is absolutely vital for optimal health. Dietary fats for repair and growth. Fatty acids have a profound effect on muscle gain, fat loss, and overall health. Fat is the building block of all cell membranes. It is also the precursor for all natural steroid hormones and some neurotransmitters. A precursor is a substance from which another substance is formed. Similar to putting all the ingredients for a cake into the oven in order to make the actual cake. Define fat. When we talk about fat types, saturated, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, we're actually talking about fatty acids. Fatty acids are chains of carbon and hydrogen atoms attached to a carboxyl group. Think of it like a hinge on your bike that keeps individual chain links together. Every fat, whether plant or animal, is made up of these same raw materials. In saturated fat, every link in the fatty acid chain is secured, it's saturated. Monounsaturated fats have just one unsecured link, mono is Latin for one, and polyunsaturated fats have 2 or more unsecured links in their chains, poly is Latin for many. In truth, almost all the natural fats we eat are a blend of these 3 kinds of fat. But whatever a fat is mostly made of, whether saturated, monounsaturated or polyunsaturated fat, is generally what we call it. We do the same with macronutrients. Oats, for example, have a little fat and some protein, but are primarily comprised of carbohydrates, which is why we label them as a carbohydrate food. Avoid margarines and eat egg yolks and real butter. Saturated fat was demonized during the early 90s because we thought it raised cholesterol, and we linked high cholesterol to heart disease. The heart disease epidemic is a relatively new problem in human history, and according to the author of Eat the Yolks, Liz Wolfe, the first recorded heart attack was in 1912, and by 1930 the number of heart attacks had reached 3,000, and by 1960, there were over 500,000 deaths recorded from heart attacks. People were terrified and needed an explanation, and a bad guy. In stepped saturated fat. The Western culture's panic led to the development of two ideas that became interlinked: saturated fat is bad, and saturated fat raises cholesterol levels, which gives you a heart attack. This is where margarines and vegetable oil came in to save the day. According to Chris Masterjob, an expert in nutrition science, randomized controlled trials have shown that polyunsaturated fats can't reduce heart diseases. In fact, no study on replacing animal fat, saturated fat, with plant-based polyunsaturated fat has shown to reduce mortality. More interestingly, Masterjob stated that these studies showed an increased risk of cancer after 5 years and possible increase in heart disease risk. Are these heart-healthy vegetable oils therefore bad for us? I'll let you make your own decision regarding this, but if fat loss, muscle building, or increasing energy is your goal, margarines and other vegetable oils are very unlikely to support you on your journey. It's also worth noting that the vegetable oils are made up of corn, soya, and canola. Corn is a grain, not a vegetable. Soybeans are legumes, not vegetables. Canola is derived from a seed, not a vegetable. As mentioned earlier, in the case of eggs, the nutritional density of the egg yolk of a free-range chicken to that of her sister raised in a cage or a factory is also worlds apart. Considering that margarine is generally a blend of crops oils and usually includes additives like emulsifiers, and that butter from pastured cows actually contains fat-burning ingredients like CLA, which is present in most fat-burning supplements, it's probably better to stick to the real thing. Kerrygold Irish butter, for example, is produced from pastured cows. The key with fat is to make sure you don't eat too much, as it is calorie dense, i.e. you don't need to eat a lot to get a lot of calories, but factoring it into your nutritional plan can make you feel more satiated, give you more energy, and can actually speed up fat loss in conjunction with the right training program and overall nutritional plan. But what about calories? Having an idea of calorie consumption is important for your fitness goals. If you want to lose weight and your calorie maintenance, which is the number of calories you need to eat to stay the same weight, is 2,000 kilocalories, and you eat 6,000 kilocalories every day, you will probably not lose weight or body fat too quickly. On the other hand, if you are trying to build muscle and your maintenance is 2,000 kilocalories, you need to eat significantly more in order to build lean muscle. However, the amount is obviously dependent on the speed of your metabolism, current body fat levels, general lifestyle, amongst other factors. Fat has more calories per gram, 9 kilocalories, than either carbs or protein, both 4 kilocalories. However, the reality is that 500 kilocalories from fat is absorbed much differently than 500 kilocalories from carbohydrates. Fat is more satiating, meaning it will leave you feeling fuller for longer, and including good quality fats that help stabilize blood sugar and hunger levels can be the key to losing body fat, building more muscle, and giving you steady energy throughout the day. Eat fat, lose fat. The take-home message is pretty simple. Eat real food. Our bodies and digestive systems are designed to eat food as near to its natural state as possible, and not the low-fat versions. Therefore, eat properly raised animals, minimally processed animal products, and wild fish. And as long as you have calculated the amount of calories you are eating, don't fear the fat that comes with them. Not all fat is created equal. One of the biggest misconceptions that I fell victim to in my early 20s was that eating fat will make you fat. I think a more accurate rephrasing would be, certain fat will make you fat. The three main types of fat that are important to understand are omega-6, omega-3 and trans fatty acids. Omega-3 and omega-6. Both essential fatty acids, EFA, omega-3 and omega-6 are considered vital and beneficial. However, omega-3 EFA is normally considered slightly more important, as the modern Western diet is likely to be more deficient in omega-3 than omega-6. This is because the king of the omega-3 family, alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, and his metabolically active prince and princess, eicosapentaenoic acid, EPA, and docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, are more unsaturated and prone to damage in cooking and food processing. In other sections of the book, I've spoken how food processing removes a lot of nutrients from food, and omega-3 is a primary example. Why do I need omega-3? Omega-3 is actively involved in critical biological functions such as improving cognitive abilities, helping you retain information better, helping you perform complicated tasks more effectively, alleviating pain and inflammation, and improving insulin sensitivity. If you find that you have brain fog, pain from inflammation, or have body fat to lose, it might be worth increasing your omega-3 intake. The best sources of omega-3. The best seed oils for omega-3 are flax, also known as linseed, hemp, and pumpkin. For example, one of my favorite health shakes includes a mixture of rice or whey protein, flaxseed oil, hemp seeds, and pumpkin seeds. If you eat carnivorous fish such as mackerel, herring, tuna, and salmon, or their oils, you can bypass the conversion stage of alpha-linoleic acid and go straight to EPA and DHA. This is why fish-eating cultures, the Japanese culture for example, have 3 times the omega-3 than their Western counterparts. Vegans who eat more seeds tend to have much higher levels of omega-3 as well. What are the best sources of fat? Oily fish, salmon, mackerel. Nuts, almonds, walnuts, cashews. Seeds, pumpkin, linseed, chia. Oils, flaxseed, hemp. Avoid this type of fat or you will get fat trans fatty acids or trans fats definition. An unsaturated fatty acid of a type occurring in margarines and manufactured cooking oils as a result of the hydrogenations process. Consumption of such acids is thought to increase the risk of atherosclerosis, a disease of the arteries. By Webster Dictionary. Trans fats are created as a result of the partial hydrogenation process, or as Liz Wolfe describes it, the process of beating an already unhealthy oil into partially hydrogenated submission. This basically means they change already unhealthy oils into something even worse. Not only have trans fats been shown to lead to a range of health problems, heart disease, obesity, etc., but they are also the single worst types of fats if you are trying to reduce your own levels of body fat. Your body can store them pretty easily. To understand how bad trans fats truly are, here's a brief explanation at its simplest form of how your body actually taps into fat stores, burning through unwanted body fat in the process. There are obviously digestive, metabolic, and hormonal processes that affect this, but at the most basic level your body's preferred source of energy is glucose. All carbohydrates you consume get converted to glucose. To simplify, any excess glucose gets stored as glycogen, stored carbohydrate, and then any excess glucose gets stored as body fat, fat stores. Following is the energy chain. Glucose, glycogen, fat stores. Now, add trans fats into the mix and observe how the energy chain changes. Glucose, glycogen, fats, trans fat stores. You have now added another figurative wall to jump over in your quest to lose body fat. Personally, when I used to eat fast food, hydrogenated oils, and other trans fatty acids, it normally increased body fat around my stubborn areas, i.e. places you struggle to remove fat from, such as my lower abdomen and glut region. Trans is Latin for the opposite side, and hence the name trans fat. Your body doesn't recognize trans fats, Their actual chemical makeup is completely foreign to it. Because of this, as soon as you consume them, your body panics and tends to shuttle them straight into the fat pockets or visceral fat over the organs, so as not to damage your vital organs.